We don't want to admit that we have a high homosexual rate, a high bisexual rate, and high IV drug users.
And it's really pathetic because some of those are the saying sissies. Husbands are some of our best boyfriends. Wives are some of our best girlfriends.
As a lesbian, I am concerned about getting AIDS. I'm not as concerned as some others, but I am concerned about losing my friends.
AIDS is definitely making me change my lifestyle, and I think America's changing their lifestyle.
Of course AIDS frightens me.
Everyone's scared of a disease, but to not protect yourself from it's pretty stupid. That's what's scary.
I have AIDS, and my baby has AIDS. My husband has it, but he won't go to the doctor.
A system of survival. That's another description of Project Solo, which simply means saving our lives ourselves.
And that's what we're all about, saving lives in our communities. Hello, I'm Carlos Guevara.
And I'm Sheila Banks. Project Solo was created because the Connecticut Department of Health Services, through its commissioner, Dr. Fred Adams, saw the need. Let's start with the definition. AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, attacks the body's immune system, reducing its abilities to fight off infections and cancers. And the disease is fatal. The facts are alarming. AIDS cases in Connecticut have predominantly been clustered in urban areas: Hartford, Bridgeport, New Haven. These cities rank among the nation's highest in the incidence of AIDS.
And that incidence of AIDS is disproportionately high among minority populations. And nationwide, blacks are 25% of the nation's known AIDS victims. 14% are Hispanic. But in Connecticut, those percentages are higher. As of December 22nd, 1997, blacks, who make up just 7% of Connecticut's population, accounted for 35% of the state's reported AIDS cases. Latinos, who only comprise 4% of the population, are thus far 16% of the reported AIDS cases. Collectively, these two groups make up over 50% of the state's reported AIDS cases, while comprising only 11% of the state's population.
Why? Well, maybe because of long-held taboos and traditions. Members of both the black and Hispanic communities have been slow to respond to a disease largely associated with male homosexuality and drug addicts, but looking away does no good. In fact, some experts say looking away is what helped turn AIDS into an epidemic.
Well, we know the main ways AIDS is transmitted, either through homosexual or bisexual contact, through contaminated blood products, through intravenous drug use, or from an infected mother to her unborn child. Dr. Ruth Jackson of the Morehouse School of Medicine and the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta explains the ways that you won't contract AIDS.
The AIDS virus is not passed through casual contact or transmitted through casual contact, nor through mosquito bites or other insect bites, as we have so often heard from various corners relative to how the virus might be transmitted. Hugs, kisses, handshakes, the use of eating utensils, the use of toilet facilities and the like will not and are not ways of transmitting the virus.
In Connecticut, while the AIDS virus has predominantly been contracted through male homosexual contact, the most rapidly increasing AIDS population is in minority communities, especially among IV drug abusers. And therein lies one of the major links to the spread of AIDS into the heterosexual population. To support her habit, a woman will possibly rely on prostitution. If infected, she can give the disease to her partners. If a man is infected, how many women could he pass the virus on to? Experts feel that no impact is going to be made on the AIDS epidemic unless we first deal with the substance abuse issue. And to deal with that, you must understand that for people who may have no job, no home, no dreams, the high is an escape for which they might be willing to risk it all, even their lives. One feels lighter.
One day I woke up and I was a drug addict. without even knowing it. Most of the time, I think that's the way it is with everyone here. Without even knowing it, one thinks that they can dominate the drug.
If you think getting high today is not going to hurt you tomorrow, because it's crazy, because you got to pay the piper, and the piper will be paid.
I look back and I say, oh, that was 5 years ago, and look, if I hadn't have been busy killing myself, look where I could be right now, because me and that guy was in a shooting gallery together. He stopped. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. Education is the key. But we've learned that education or knowledge increase isn't enough. In addition to knowledge increase, Project Solo believes we must emphasize attitude adjustment, addressing lifestyles, beliefs, value systems, and the socioeconomics of the individual. We humans are creatures of habit, and old habits die hard. But the attitude adjustment approach should help to modify the behaviors of minority groups as they relate to AIDS. To put it another way, just because we know something is bad for us doesn't mean we're going to change our ways because we know it. That's why the attitude adjustment approach is key.
Well, how do you do that? There are several avenues, beginning with the basics. Now, in the target cities of Hartford, Bridgeport, and New Haven, outreach workers will be employed to help spread the word about AIDS and encourage behavioral changes in a way that members of the community can relate to and understand.